It's the Yortzeit, also the Yortzeit of Nekadam, Tamara bat Nekadam. Tamara bat Nekadam, also for the success of Ari Malek. Tov. After a month, Baruch Hashem, we're back here. I spoke already yesterday about the situation, and it only got worse since yesterday to today, and it looks like it's going to get a lot worse. If you follow my lectures for the past 20-something years, you know I never had any illusion that you can rely or count on the Israeli Arabs, if there is such a thing. No, Rabbi, they already has Israeli passport. They live in, with us. They're not like them. They're not the same. They grew up with us. Baloney. What's the Zohar say? That the fifth galut, fifth exile will be Galut Ishmael. That means every Arab, potentially, not of course there's always exception to the rule, but potentially every Arab is not just an enemy. We have 5 empires that gave us hard time, right? Besides Egypt, Babylon, Greece, Persia, the Romans, all this. But there are four actually came to attack Israel. Egypt did not attack Israel. We were there. And we came out of Egypt. But from then on, we had 4 galuyot. Babylon destroyed the first temple. Then Haman and Achashverosh was the second one. Third one was the Greeks. And the fourth one was Romi. But, the Romans. And the fifth galut will be Galut Ishmael. That's what the Chachamim told us. And they told us that they are the cruelest. And if you remember, I said to you already that if you have to compare a Hamas terrorist to a Nazi that actually burned Jews in gas chambers. The question would be, what's the difference? Ze nevela veze trefa. What's the difference? That's a mass murderer and that's a mass murderer. There's still one difference. That if you come to the Nazi, Hans, Joseph, whatever his name was, and you tell him, now, if you want to continue to kill Jews, we have to cut your hand off. And then you can kill 100,000 Jews. But we have to chop your hand off. Sacrifice your hand, kill 100,000 Jews that you hate so much. Will he agree? No, absolutely not. Now one of them will agree. To give him one scratch in his face with a knife, he would not agree. Forget to take off his hand. Any damage to him, he would not agree. You come to an Arab, you tell him you give your hand that you can kill 100,000 Jews. He said, what, my hand only? Kill me and my 10 sons. But not to kill 100,000 Jews, to kill one Jew. I and my 10 sons will all jump into the fire and die if we'll be able to kill one Jew. So who hate us more? Who's more dangerous? The Nazis, they're very spoiled. They didn't want to die. They didn't want to suffer. They would not agree to suffer to achieve their goal. These Arabs, because they are so brainwashed, they walk with the feeling that the more I suffer and the more I'll die, the faster I die, the faster I'll go to heaven. They don't understand what kind of hell is waiting for them, for murdering innocent people, especially the children of God. Billions of years, they won't stop to suffer, all these terrorists. So for them, in their mind, they live in some kind of illusion that they're going to get something out of it. They will get something out of it. Millions of years of suffering. But we have to know one thing. Thinking that our problem right now is with the Arabs. In a way, it's heresy. It's kfirah. What difference does it make? Arabs, Romans, Greeks, who cares? In the end, they all come to kill you, right? Who triggered them? It's written in a parasha that we read on Shabbat, Bechukotai. The enemy that lives among you will rise and you will go down as results of you not following my laws. You want to become secular? You want to live secular and rebel against me? No problem. But be ready to pay the price. So when people ask you now what's going to be, you have to think and to say, we get right now what we deserve. That's the truth. Not everybody can handle the truth, but we get what we deserve. We brought it on ourselves. 1.5 years of Corona was not enough. 6,300 people that died in Israel from Corona was not enough. Hashem gave us a way out of it by a miracle that nobody in the world has. In countries, they pile bodies and they burn them. They don't know what to do with them. Hashem got us out and said, no, let's see now if you're going to appreciate that you're the first country who came out of this and you're back to normal. Anyone learned the lesson? Possibly not even one. So that's what happened to us. The tragedy of Meron. It's equal to thousands of deaths. More than 6,300. More than 6,300, because each one of these tzaddikim count like hundreds or maybe thousands. Bnei Torah, holy people that did not, some of them did not make sins yet. They're young, 15, 13, 16.
There's a couple of kids.
Yeah, kids. So that wasn't enough. A week later comes another intifada. Hashem triggered those Arabs, and look what they do. But you have to know one thing now. What's happening now, it's unprecedented. It never happened yet from the time Israel became a state. Why? Because now citizens of the country with Israeli passport are cooperating with the enemies from outside to destroy Israel. This is what Paro was afraid of. The Egyptians, they say, let's get ready for the day that there will be a war and these Jews will cooperate with our enemies and they'll take over the country. That was a very clever thought. If you have a potential enemy lives inside you, right, you have to be always few steps ahead. The only reason they did not succeed and Hashem got angry at them and punished them severely is because they were ungrateful. Because thanks to the Jews, they have life. Without Yosef, they'll be all dead from starvation. So because of them, you are alive. You're right about what you say. They live among you, and one day they can take over the country, which is normal. Strangers may make a revolution one day. Minorities make problems in every country in the world. It's nothing new. Every place you go, minorities make problem, even here in America. But 10-15% of the Americans are black. They hate many of them, the white. And they make problems. It's a racial issue here. They feel deprived. They feel that they took advantage on them. They want a revenge. They make problems. You saw the riots. Every country you go, the Kurds in Turkey. I'm not getting into the argument who is right. White, black, Turkish, Kurdish. I'm not getting into this political argument now. I'm just describing that minorities, it's like they say in America, a pin in the neck. There's always going to be complaints. Sometimes justified complaints, sometimes not. So the majority in every country, like in China, there's 2 million Muslims, they destroy them. They torture them, they put them in camps. They don't let them build one mosque in China because they learn from what's happening in the world. You let them raise their heads, that will be the end of us. The next thing, China will go on anarchy. So they re-educate them, force them. Over there's no democracy, there's no limitation. They can do whatever they want. And that's why, when did you hear that in China you have what you have in Israel? or in Europe. Nobody makes a beep there. So, because the Egyptian had a serious ungratefulness in what they did, that's when Hashem punished them. Also, Hashem promised Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov that he's going to take us out of Egypt. So he was forced to keep his promise. But other than that, every country that actually prepared for the day that the minority that declared that they would not rest until they slaughter all the majority, you have to be ready for the day that they will fulfill their goal. You cannot see it for 70 years and ignore the problem who only rise every day. Every prime minister in Israel, with no exception to the rule, are guilty of this situation. Now, one of them did anything about it. Nothing. Not only that, Hashem saw that Israeli lousy, wicked politicians are about to form a lefty government with the enemies of Israel that call for our death and to destroy the religion while they're doing it. What happened? Look what's happening. That's what's happening. So first of all, the plan to join with the Arabs and form a government, it's history. You know what? I don't know. So far the 3 people died. 2 Jewish women and 1 Indian Goya that works in Israel. So far they died. And they burned hundreds of cars. And they burn a synagogue or 2 and a cemetery. And they keep doing, and they shoot rockets everywhere. Maybe this price is definitely worth it than to let the Arabs take over the government. They're going to have to sit in the government's confidential meetings and know about all the nuclears and all the spies and all the Mossad agents. That's the cancer of the stupid democracy, that your enemies that live among you and call for your destruction will become a majority eventually and take over what you build and slaughter all of you. That's what's happening. Yes. So we read it in this parasha. It's very interesting, the timing, right after Parashat Bechukotai, which describe exactly it. The minority that lives among you, the nation that lives inside you, will rise and take over. Now, in the city of Lod, it's like saying Brooklyn. It's like the riots you had over here. When the riots took place here in New York, they were all American citizens. We're not talking about somebody from a different country trying to damage United States. It's American citizen who became an enemy of America. In this case, is New York. An enemy of the authorities, fighting policemen, killing them, burning things, robbing places, become the enemy of the nation. Same thing in Israel. Today you saw a video, I don't know how can you survive without fainting. Maybe 10,000 terrorists that lives in Lod with Israeli passport. They scream exactly like the Hamas, burning, throwing rocks at glasses, burning, breaking glasses of Jewish apartments. The Jews did not come today out of their apartments all day in Lod. Not in Gaza, in Lod. Imagine you in Brooklyn are locked for 48 hours in your apartment. You cannot come out because people on the street ready to kill you and to burn you alive. And who are your neighbors? He lives here, he lives across the street. People from your own buildings. People that you see in the elevator, people that you see in a restaurant, people that you see on the street every day. You live with them for already 2-3 generations, and the Israelis are very naive and sometimes very stupid. I've been screaming for 20-something years, there's no such thing, Israeli Arabs and Arabs from Palestinian territories. No such thing. They all have one mission, to slaughter all of us. No, don't be an extremist. Today they got the shock of their life.
What's the message from Hashem though?
So now we have to understand why, when I say we deserve it, we have to be honest. First of all, every person that say what happened to us, we don't deserve it, is a kofir. If a person have questions about Hashem, he's a kofar. It's a question if you can even count him in a minyan. Hey, this guy died, he didn't deserve it. If he died, he deserved it. You do not know why, but Hashem does know why. In Rosh Hashanah, Hashem wrote him for death. There is no mistakes in the computer of Hashem. If this righteous person died, that means in Rosh Hashanah Hashem wrote that he will die when he's 16. And this guy 20 and this guy 70. And Hashem wrote it, and he wrote how he's going to die and what date and what time. And that was already written, and there's a reason for it. If the reason is not from this life, then the reason is from past life, from previous life. But the fact that a person died, that means he deserved to die. Somebody became sick, he deserved to be sick. If someone did all kinds of things and lost in the end everything, he deserved to lose all the money that he had. Why? Hashem does not give someone something, a punishment, unless he deserves it. With one exception to the rule, that sometimes there's a mass decree on thousands of people, and Hashem redeemed that by taking them extra righteous people, like kids, like very righteous Talmidei Chachamim. So he takes them from the world, put them in heaven, and as a result of that, 10,000 others that were supposed to die will live extra few more years to do tshuva, if they will do tshuva. It's up to them. In that case, these people really didn't deserve to die, but Hashem used them as a sacrifice, and he made it up for them. They did not go to a bad place. They went to a very good place in heaven. So in the end, Hashem made it worth it for them. For them, definitely, they're not sorry for that. They got a great gift for that. Where they are right now, all these righteous people, we wish to be one day. And they went there. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol nהיה bidbaro.
Amen.
So, even though we are confident that we don't deserve it, and we complain, and we don't understand what Hashem wants from us, we should know that the problem is 100% by us. The fact that you do not understand your Creator does not make it right. Your claims are all nonsense. They all come from either lack of attention, or lack of emunah, or ignorance, or different reasons, but definitely you don't see the picture. One person on my way to Brooklyn today called me up, spoke to me, and he told me, I tell you the truth, I used to be very upset when things like this happen, but now I'm not upset. Why? We didn't get the lesson when a corona. Maybe now we will get the lesson. So I told him, you see, you're one of the few people that look at the world with bright eyes, spiritual Torah eyes. Most people look at the world in a complete wrong way. They don't have Torah knowledge, they don't have Torah understanding, they don't understand who is God and what does He do and how does He do and why. They don't understand anything. And whenever they see children are dying or even religious people are dying, immediately they will jump to the wrong conclusion. If that's what happened, there's no God. If that's what happened, God hates us. If that's what happened, whatever the case may be. One thing we have to know, that in a court of heaven, when the decision is reached, we have the prosecutor and we have the defense. We have an angel to defend us and bring all the good that we do, and Baruch Hashem, we do some good. And there is the category, the Satan, who try to make it as bad as possible for all of us, for each individual and for us as a nation. So everything negative he can bring to Hashem and present his case, in the end, a decision has to be made. So whenever you see tragedies like you see right now, that means that Hashem and the defense angel did everything they can to get us in an easier possible way than what the Satan wants. So when you see such a tragedy, one follow the other every day or every other day, then you know that the judgment right now is extremely strict. We have right now Midat Adin. Now it's Rosh Chodesh Sivan. Now it's the head of the first day of the month of Sivan. Now, right now, started, and that's the month we received the Torah. That's the month that we had Ma'amad Har Sinai, that Hashem came down on a mountain and spoke to us. That's supposed to be very special days. First 12 days of the month, you don't make confessions. There's no Nefilat Apayim, no Vidui, because it's 12 days with spiritual light from Shamayim. And Hashem is striking our places with bombs and missiles and thirsty blood murderers, thousands of them that lives among us. Then you know how angry he is at us. And if you think otherwise, it's about time you wake up. Why? Because the more you will deny it, the more punishment you will get. Punishment is not only when you do something with your hands, or with your mouth, or with your eyes. Punishment is when you think what you're not supposed to think. When you think things that, another day or two it will all be over. That's the way it is. It's politics. What can you do? We came to Israel, the Arabs are angry, that's baloney. This is the way the Goyim think. All the anti-Semite European, they rewrite history. They all know that we were there for 3,000 years. They all read the Tanakh in their churches. Even the Arabs read it in their mosques. And they all cooperate with one of the biggest scams in history. What is the biggest scam? They created a nation that never existed, Palestinians. Named after Philistines. There's no such thing, Palestinians. It's regular Arabs. Regular Arabs from different countries. So, what can you do? Politically, if I was the Prime Minister, I would target every Israeli citizen who attacked police and burn things and revoked his citizenship. Take it away from him. You don't have an ID. No passport. You don't belong to this country. You can live here right now, but you're not a citizen of this country. You don't have the right. Now I know what you're going to say. Well, you can do it. You need to. It's a democracy. You have to limit democracy by 90%. Cancel 90% of the law of democracy in Israel. There's no room for democracy in Israel. Until now, why we were afraid? We were afraid of America. America keeps pushing the democracy on countries. Democracy, democracy, democracy. Okay, as long as you get some benefits from America, you're afraid to lose it. But now when the Americans themselves became an enemy of Israel, as you can hear on the news, how they talk. There's not Trump. Trump, as usual, is faithful to us. He came up and spoke. And he said to Sleepy Joe, wake up. You're supposed to go with your ally. What is this? Thank you for saying Israel have the right to defend itself. Wow, such an achievement. To get it out of his mouth, wow, it was not easy. 4 years Trump was a president, he did not hear anything from the Palestinians, this fake nation, Palestine. Nothing, almost nothing for 4 years. Nothing. They were very quiet. Why? They knew their place. He put them where they belong. Put them in a box and said, sit here and be quiet. He closed their mini embassy over here in Manhattan, shut their budgets, went against them in United Nations constantly, cut their wings, and for 4 years they were begging for the day he will go away. Of course, this is all Hashem did. But what can we do that it did not help? None of us became more religious. None of us became more faithful to Hashem. Most of us do not appreciate. We took it for granted. And everything turned around 180 degrees overnight. The moment these Democrats took the control, you know life will never be the same. But it's not only going to be for 4 years. Don't kid yourself. That's it. It's forever now. It's not going to be any more Republicans here. There's not going to be a regime over here that is pro-Israel. More and more lefty Muslim Democrats taking over. Soon you're going to have here in America ministers that are actual terrorists, like this Omar and the other ones, actual terrorists. They will run this country. They will control thousands of nuclear bombs. The partners of Iran and the Hamas will control America in another 5-10 years. If you ever have a dream that things will get better here, you're dreaming. We are in a time is ticking. It's only going to get worse. I'm sorry to disappoint you and depress you, but we have to be prepared for what's coming. So here we go. So what the Israelis can do, right away everybody's waking up now, stop buying from the Arabs, stop hiring them, stop giving them jobs. Almost all the jobs, they're Arabs in Israel. It's a catch-22. You feed the enemy that tells you in your face, one day I will slaughter you and your children. And you have to give him a fake smile. And they usually don't give a fake smile. They show you that they hate you. Every once in a while you find a nice one among them. That is a friendly guy. But most of them, they show you in your face that they wait for the moment that they can come and slaughter you. So you have to hire them. They have to build your home, and they push shoes inside the pipe, and they push nails, and they do all kinds of other things on purpose. That after a year or two, problems will begin. Things will break, things will get stuck, will cost fortune to break the walls. That's what they do. What do you think? They like you, they're going to build you a home, hoping that you will enjoy it? Why are you living in a dream here? But on the other hand, who else going to do the job? Who? You're going to get the Jews from the university to build homes, to work in construction? I was trying to lift one Jerusalem brick. One. It's like this. It's maybe 10 inches by 30 maybe, 30 inches. And maybe 2 inches thick. One brick. It broke my entire hands and my shoulders. Then this guy came, the Arab, 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. 4. Very strong. Physically, they're very strong. The Gemara says, strong like donkeys. On donkey, you can put a ton of weight. What can you put on a Jew? You put 20 pounds, he's already shaking. Why? That's what the Torah say. The Torah say the strength is the Goyim, the Esav, the Ishmael, all these people. But the Jews, their mouth is in their holiness, spiritual power. But the problem with the Jews is that they lost connection with the Torah. This guy wants to lift weight, this guy wants to be a boxer, this guy wants to be a commando. That's not the purpose of the Jews in the world. They have to focus on what they do the best, which is thinking, speaking, influencing the world. But today it's become a mess. It's a big mess. So now, Rabotai, I want to tell you how we can handle the situation. First, we have to read a lot of Tehillim, literally. Every one of us read a lot of Tehillim for the Midat Adin to change to Midat Arachamim. The judgment will turn into mercy. Second, to give tons of tzedakah, literally tons. Not Pa'amayim Chai or 101. This you live for other times. Now it's time that the sword is on your neck. When the sword is on your neck, you don't offer the murderer 101.
What happens if you can't give?
Right? You have to make a good offer to cancel the decree.
What happens if you can't give?
You can't give, you make others give. The Satan has a sword on your neck already. You're offering him 101. He's going to slaughter you faster. You got to give something that hurts to protect yourself and your family. Why? We have a rule. Tzedakah tatzil mimavet. It's very interesting. Every time I go away to Israel for 3-4 weeks, the donations goes down more than 80, sometimes 90% in those 3-4 weeks. Almost everything stopped. Why is it? People need constant reminder that they have to give donation to save souls or to support Torah. As soon as you stop giving live lecture, first week there's a drop, second week another big drop, by the third week almost everything is gone.
Why don't people
You got to start all from the beginning when you come back. Why is it? People either have no brain or their brain memory is already full.
Why don't just people put a monthly donation?
Why people don't put monthly? Because they don't have emunah. They're afraid what's going to happen in a few months. As on my way here, someone just canceled 2 monthly donations that he had. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to cancel. No, we're not even big donation. Not even $100. So the idea is that people have no emunah. When people have financial problems, the Gemara say they have to increase their donations. If you had emunah in Hashem and in the words of Chazal, when you see that 40% of your business went down, you would double your donations. That's a kosher Jew. 99% of the people will cut immediately from their donation, before they cut from their steaks, and before they cut from their vacations, and before they cut from the Rolex that they're about to buy. A year of Corona, you may think that people will cut from all their nonsense they buy. My friend told me yesterday something shocking. He said to me, now watches are the best investment. I said to him, watches? He said, yes. I have an old Rolex. I bought it for $22,000. People offered me now $60 for it. I said, why? He said, there's shortage. They didn't make in Europe enough Rolex because of Corona, the factories. Plus, there is a lot of young millionaires, 18 years old, already have tens or hundreds of millions of dollars. How?
Cryptocurrency.
Yeah, cryptocurrency.
The person in Israel that $210,000 watch.
Yeah, the guy with the $270,000 watch. So people think that this dream will remain forever. Problem is, when an 18 or 20 years old become a millionaire overnight or in a period of a month or two, you have to really hope that will not be his final destruction for good. Because he may do some things that will destroy his life. I give you an example. If a person is smart, he understands that these profits that he makes right now will not remain forever. It's a wave. What should you do? Buy some real estate, buy other things, that one day when this collapses, you have other places. But the problem with the people is, it's like gambling in a casino. You think that every shot you make, then one shot you lose everything. Yeah. That's what happened to a lot of these kids. They're going to spend now on a new Tesla and a new watch, and they're going to spend $1 million on nonsense. And all of a sudden, a few months later, they're going to have few bad investments. And the next thing, they're going to beg you, hey, can you buy my watch for $5,000? Oh, but you pay $100. No, I need cash. That's what happened to Tyson. You know Tyson?
Sold his house.
He had a house, 64 bedrooms. And he wanted to sell it. He needed money today for $4 million. The lot cost him more. Forget about the house to build it. Now we have few problems. There's few more problems. What's the problems? Is that we don't really know where the world is going to. We don't know if we will be able to stay here for a long time. We don't know if it's good to go to Israel. I don't know what Hashem is planning to Israel. I know that many speakers over the years say Israel is the safest place. All Jews must come to Israel. If you won't come, when Mashiach comes, you won't be able to come. I never understood where they bring this from, because the Torah and the Tanakh does not say it. If any, it says the opposite. If any, it says the opposite. Two things it says. One is Zechariah 14, that when the Goyim will attack Jerusalem, it will be a disaster. I don't want to go into details because it's really, really depressing. and people would run to the deserts and hide over there in caves. It's very similar to what we see now. But based on a prophecy, it's a lot worse than what we've seen in the last few days. So I don't know where they got their confidence. The prophet says otherwise. Also, it says that the Messiah will gather all the Jews to Israel as a part of the salvation. There's nowhere does it say that if you did not make Aliyah to Israel before the Mashiach come, you won't be able to do it later on. They made it up. Whoever says such thing, he made it up. There's no source for it. We have to know the truth. We are not politicians. Again, politicians say what they want to say today. Tomorrow they said the exact opposite. Bennett is a perfect example. I promise, here you go in life, I'm signing, I will never go with the left. It's against my ideology. A week later, he's begging the left. Let's make a government. These people do not deserve 1 gram of appreciation. Nothing. These criminals that call themselves politicians. So what do we have to do? Obviously, Tehillim, lots of tzedakah. Tzedakah to save our own life. And then to help Klal Israel to learn more Torah. And the most important thing, to do tshuva. Tshuva, tfilah, and tzedakah, ma'avirim et ro'a הגזרה. Tshuva, prayers, and charity cancel and move away the decree, the horrible decree that is pending against an individual or against us as a nation.
What about chesed?
Chesed is a part of tzedakah. It's included in tzedakah. It's like giving time to someone or giving him food. That's also tzedakah. It always goes together. Every tzedakah is chesed and every chesed is tzedakah if you really think about it. Tzedakah v'chesed. If you give someone a book, you didn't give him cash, but the book saved him now to buy another book for $20. So it's like tzedakah. You gave him your clothes. You bought a suit. You gain a few pounds. It doesn't go, it doesn't close. You give it to someone, you save him $200. It's tzedakah. You understand? Or you let him borrow something, or use your car. That's money. That's tzedakah. Yeah. Biggest chesed and tzedakah obviously is kiruv, because there's nothing comes even near of taking someone's soul that was destroyed and reconnecting it to Hashem. No matter how you look at it, it's the most impressive thing that a person can do. Nothing higher than this. You take lost children and connect them to Hashem. So what's the advantage and the advantages of missiles falling all over Israel? It brings fear to all the Israeli, all the naked people, all the people that curse all day, all the mechalelei Shabbat, all the people that eat refot. I want to tell you something. About 2 years ago, remember I told you once the story that me and my assistant in Israel, when we got to the lecture, people give coins, and we had a whole big glass of coins, and I counted them and all that. And we went to a place in Chulon that the Mashgiach, the Ashgacha over there is the son of Rav Ovadia Yosef, Rabbi Avraham Yosef, Talmid Chacham. He is the Teudat Kashrut is from him there. We went to eat 2 sandwiches and drink at probably 1 or 2 a.m. at night, after a long night with people, lecture. I counted all the coins. I want to get rid of the coins. Where are we going to put the coins? So we place it with bills. We want to get rid of the coins. We either use it for food or for gas. I never forget, I went to a gas station. The guy saw the pile of the coin. Took him 15 minutes. That's unbelievable. So anyway, so the guy he adds up the 2 sandwiches, this, that, the drink, 187 shekel and 25 agorot. I say, here, exactly to the penny, what I had in my hand. Here. He said to me, what here? Ma'ine. I said, that's exactly what you said. Come on, Russian guy. Mom, count. Don't joke, count. Exactly. was shocked, him and the other guy, the Israeli guy. How can it be? That place over there is a chain of restaurants that open into the night. The food may be kosher, but the place is extremely not kosher. Sodom and Gomorrah. And I told my assistant, I don't understand how Hashem can stand such thing. Girls, young girls come here naked, sitting with guys, 2 a.m. Where is their parents? How come nobody cares where their children are? Look at all these secular teenagers over here. That's exactly where the missile fell today. Right there, in a place where I told him. Right there it fell. One woman died and the whole block is destroyed. And he sent it to me, Sarah, you recognize the place? Exactly where I told him, how can it be? What do you think? Every missile has an address. Every bullet has an address. And everybody thinks otherwise. He is, unfortunately, an infidel, kofar. He may have a nice beard and a nice yarmulke. He may come to shul and keep Shabbat, but if he thinks that there's a random falling of missiles in different places based on how the Arabs aiming at, you are dreaming. The Arabs are the tool in the end of Hashem. When he wants them to be quiet, they'll be quiet. When he wants them to shoot and where to shoot, he will aim exactly to where. And there was one missile that fell today in a farm, in a greenhouse. And the guy said, just recently I was convinced to keep this upcoming Shemitah. As a farmer who never kept Shemitah, 7 years he worked as usual, he accepted on himself for 1 year to strike and to leave his farms, not to grow anything, not to sell anything. He accepted to Shemitah. A missile fell right in his greenhouse and did not explode.
Wow.
Did not explode.
You see it laying in the...
See the missiles right there in between all
the
the...
rows of
whatever is going there. A missile that will come from far, boom, hit and not explode. You need a big miracle for that. You know, sometimes it explodes in the face of the Arabs before they even shoot it.
third of the rockets.
Yeah, some of the rockets explode on them. 10 children died, Arabs, they all died from their own fire. From their own fire. And I saw a video that one stupid Arab is shooting in the air, ta 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 ta, all of a sudden by mistake. The gun fell down and he shot few Arabs and killed one of them. One of them got it right in his eye. They killed their own people. Then they begin with their barbarian screaming, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. This is who you're dealing with. The cruelest enemy you could get, Hashem got for us. If you think that's already more than enough, Hezbollah is thinking if to join the party. Hezbollah, it's not small rockets. It's already Scud missiles and serious problem. Chas v'shalom, they're going to start shooting missiles all over. We will see in the next few days how much Hashem is angry at us. We will see how much Hashem is angry at us. Why does Hashem make a lot of bombs and explosions? The Gemara answers it. Who knows where does it say it in the Gemara? Why does Hashem choose punishment that has a lot of noise, loud noise? Huh? The answer is, the Gemara says, לא נבראו רעמים, אלא כדי ליישר הקמומיות שבלב. Why Hashem invented such a phenomena? Thunders. Boom! You hear the thunder sometimes? Shakes the whole building. The glass can break. Boom! What happens as soon as you hear this? You can't breathe. You get so afraid. People get panic attacks from thunders. If you think thunder is scary, I don't want to tell you what happened when a bomb explodes right by your backyard, the noise that it makes, your ears cannot hear for 3-4 hours after that. All you hear is a whistle. So the Gemara, everything is in the Gemara. Why Hashem makes explosions around us? To make the heart straight. הקמומיות שבלב. The heart goes left and right, zigzag. One moment you're religious, another moment you, Hashem Yerachem what you are. Up and down, left and right, up and down, left and right. That's the reality. So let's conclude. What is the good thing that happened from this war so far? Who remember?
Stop the government.
The horrible anti-Jewish government that was about to be formed in the next few days most likely will not happen. And that's a big miracle. You don't understand what would happen if it will happen. They will shut all the budgets of all the yeshivot because the biggest haters of Torah are about to become the leaders. The one in charge of the money, Lieberman, there's no bigger anti-Semite person in the world more than him. Nobody hates Torah and religious people more than this Nazi. And he was about to become the Ministry of Treasury, meaning all the money of the yeshivot, of the synagogues, all the budgets in his signature. That's worse than 100 wars like this. 100 wars of what you see right now, multiply by 100, it's not a tragedy like him becoming Sar HaOtzar. And few other lefties, one of them become the Minister of Education. Gay, lefty, pro-Hamas, hate Torah, hate Hashem, an atheist. He is going to be in charge of the education of all the Jewish kids in Israel. That was about to happen.
What's his name?
Horvitz.
Why do they hate Torah?
Yes, the Meretz. Imach Shimam, these haters of Torah. And few other clowns like Lapid. I don't have to tell you, his record is already well known to everyone, how much he hates religion. Those were the people who were about to take over Israel. So maybe
Hashem is doing it to show them that if you go with them,
we cannot show them anything. Even if Arabs will burn the entire Israel, they will still blame us.
even the lefties.
The lefties. The lefties will never be on the side of the Jews. The lefties are the Erev Rav that the Zohar warned from, that they are the biggest enemies of the Jewish nation ever. Ever. Those are the lefties in Israel. You know, they were interviewing an Israeli guy on live television for one of the, because he was next to the bomb, to the missile. In the middle of the interview, he said, you know why we have all this? It's because of the lefties in Shimam, and he started to curse them with the worst curses you can imagine. And the guy was trying to grab the microphone from his hand, and he was still cursing them on live television. You had to see this. They are the enemies, he said.
Here they're doing better. They close the shadow of the valley.
Here they're very good with shutting people's mouth.
Yeah.
Look what they did to Trump.
Yeah.
Okay, so my trip to Israel, Baruch Hashem, let's talk about something happy. It was very good, very successful. After 10 months I couldn't go. We had a seminar, as usual, people waiting online to grab the USBs and the books. And one interesting thing happened. I dedicated a week of my trip to go every day to find the best tefillin that you can find on earth. I mamash went from one place to another, from one checking. I took with me a friend of mine that we learned together in yeshiva over 20 years ago. He became Av Bedin. It's a big dayan, huge Talmid Chacham. He already wrote books, many books. Talmid Chacham, Tzaddik Yesod Olam, lover of Torah. His entire life is Torah, and he's also a great sofer. But because he's so into the Torah and the Bedin, he has no time to write. At least he's a top expert. Every little thing he checked. I took him with me. Apparently, there are two things in Tefillin that are tricky. It could be beautiful parshiot, beautiful writing, but still have problems. It's enough that one of the letters is incomplete. For instance, sometimes they make the vav a little bit short. It's already questionable. It's a vav or yud. Everything else is like a printing. One letter that is bad habit of the sofer brings down the idur of the tefillin. Or it could be that according to Kabbalah, when they write the name of Hashem, there is also a way to see if this tefillin is holy or less. There's all kinds of things. It's a little complicated, some of the things you have to check. But you have to take, I took top expert. Every halacha possible, every chumrah he knows. I said, that's your field, that's your territory, you're the best sofer, you're the biggest Talmid Chacham. Let's go and check the best sofer and the best batim, 100% handmade, from the beginning to the end. In batim, sometimes there is a lot of scam. The way they make it looks beautiful, but it's not kosher. The lines are not aligned with the actual hole. The separation, it's maybe a little bit left or right, and they make it, the painter, he makes the lines equal and symmetric, but if you stick knife inside, it's not where the hole is. Why? Because they want it to look nice. But that's a problem. There's all kinds of problems. So you have to know that when to get those batim, you have to, there is some places in Israel that they make like very small amount. It's all handmade. It's not commercial. They don't make hundreds. They make one by one, and each one is supervised. Not a general supervision like other places. Other places, they're mashgiach, he check roughly, they know the job, but he doesn't check each pair by itself. So, best batim, very much more expensive than the regular good ones. The regular good ones have a price, but this one, because it's all unique, one by one, again, there's few different levels. It range between $1,000 to $2,000, depend. But the idea is you should know that now someone told me that he just paid $2,200 for a pair of tefillin, and it doesn't come near this one, which is half a price. Half a price. But you should know one of the reasons that it became very expensive is because the dollar is also on the all the way in the bottom, 3.20 something. It used to be 4. But it's unbelievable. Also, you have a cloth that is 100% also handmade, avodat yad. Also inside the tefillin, there is sometimes shortcuts that they use. It's kosher. For instance, you have the machine, you hold your hand on a button, and the machine works. As long as you hold it, it's from your hand. It has to be handmade. But pressing on a button and the machine does the job. Is this what the Torah meant? Because in the old days, they didn't have machine. The machine didn't work like this. So, if you do it yourself with your hand, it takes a lot longer, but it's no doubt that it's 100% the hand. If you press on a button and the machine does it, you say, wow, it's also my hand. Without my hand, it wouldn't move. But you understand that there's a difference. Yeah. Also to do the sheen, there's sometimes what they do, they press it from the side, they press the background, and then the sheen comes out, and then they fix it with the hand. Or sometimes they do everything with the hand. It's much, much longer process. It's unbelievable art to make tefillin. From the minute he was a cow until he became a very beautiful pair of tefillin,